Hi, I'm Erin Neer, and today I'll be talking to you a little bit about the McKinney-Vento Act, focusing on homelessness. The first article I chose was called Promoting Resilience in Youth Experiencing Homelessness Through Implementation of the McKinney-Vento Homelessness Assistance Act. The main issue within this article is how homelessness is affecting the youth in their schoolwork and trying to promote resilience to those students who are being negatively affected through homelessness. Resilience can be defined as better than expected outcomes in the presence of risk factors. These specific risk factors to this article are poverty and homelessness. Resilience's goal is to avoid these outcomes that are associated with the risks. The main points. So, the McKinney-Vento Assistance Act's intent is to ensure that the youth who experience homelessness have a full and equal opportunity to succeed. Although there are several barriers to implementation of the Act, including knowledge and awareness and continued difficulties with collaboration and cooperation among potential stakeholders. But the main points throughout the article is that the article aims to let us understand homelessness through a bioecological perspective. This is the process of human development based on the level of interaction and degree of impact of interrelated systems on the individual. The first system being the microsystem. The microsystem represents interactions that occur between youth and their proximate environment, which includes a variety of individuals such as caregivers, siblings, teachers, and etc. The second being the mesosystem. The mesosystem encompasses the interactions between an individual's microsystem and can be exemplified by the communications that occur between those individuals that affect the microsystem, such as caregivers, siblings, teachers, and etc. The third system is the exosystem. This system is conceptualized as a set of indirect factors that may impact the individual, such as the work environments of parents or caregivers. Finally, the fourth system is a macrosystem. This system includes the laws and policies that affect the lives of children and their families. For example, a student was impacted by a common misconception of homelessness and the culture of poverty, such as the belief that an individual asking for money on the streets has a drug addiction. So my thoughts and what I learned from this article. So I really enjoyed this article, and I thought it was interesting to learn more about the educational support systems behind the Act, and how those systems can be put in place or implemented to help the youth students stay resilient and persevere through tough times, especially when it comes to issues with their education and things like that. The second article I chose was called Responding to the School Mobility of Children and Youth Experiencing Homelessness, the McKinney-Vento Act and Beyond. So the main issue. This article explores the school mobility of children and youth experiencing homelessness and the success of the McKinney-Vento Act in addressing this mobility. It also proposes that affordable housing is the key to eliminating mobility associated with homelessness and consequently improving the educational achievement of these highly mobile students. This article addresses multiple main points, so I'm just going to hit at the top four. So first one is that housing costs have increased while the wages for low-income workers have not changed in a long time. So if you're a family and someone is working in a low-income job, it's not going to allow you to provide enough for a household, let alone potentially even a house. The second one is homelessness doesn't target an entire family. In some cases, it can be a specific individual. And many reasons it can affect just the children of the family is because of physical or sexual abuse from parents or other family members. And also in some instances, children are forced to leave the house because their beliefs or their values don't align with their parents or family members, and that causes some issues within the family. There are options for families and youth experiencing homelessness. So like different housing options such as emergency shelters, motels and hotels, sharing housing with friends and family, And then there's other temporary and inadequate options, such as an abandoned building. Definitely not an ideal choice. And then finally, the fourth one is individuals experiencing homelessness have a greater mental as well as physical health effects. And their schooling is being negatively affected due to the mobility that they are experiencing from their homelessness, whether that's their families moving around a lot or they are moving around a lot, going from different foster homes or different shelters and stuff like that. My thoughts and what I learned from Article B. I enjoyed this article more than Article A, I think, because I worked in affordable housing this summer, so I kind of knew a little bit of background about it and how beneficial affordable housing can be to families who are struggling with income and poverty or who are just struggling financially. And there is an extremely high demand for it because of the economical issues that we're currently facing. So I think that it would be very beneficial for families if affordable housing was more accessible. That way it can eliminate mobility for students and children who are experiencing homelessness. That way they can be more productive and have better health and perform better in school. And overall, it's just more beneficial for the child or student or whoever is being affected by homelessness. The National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics, for each article, I think they both hit on the value of service, because that ethical principle is that social workers' primary goal is to help people in need and to address the social problems. And so I think in both ways they do that. And I think that there are some issues with the McKinney Vento Act because it's not extremely known. Like I'd never heard about it before. And so I think that one thing is that they need to spread more awareness about it. And I think that that is the social worker's primary goal. And I think through these articles, that is the goal. The question I decided to pose was, what major way do you think the McKinney-Vento Act can be implemented to help reduce the amount of homelessness within your home community? I know that not every community is experiencing a lot of homelessness. So if you're not experiencing a lot of it, or your community is not experiencing a lot of it, maybe think of an area that is experiencing a lot that is near you, and see how they would, or what implementations that you would put in place for that community to help reduce the amount of homelessness.